Hello everyone, welcome to Shelf Space. I'm your host, Roz13, and today we are reviewing the Core Gundam G3 Color and VT unit from Build Divers Re-Rise. That's right, we're looking at the other release of the Core Gundam, along with the V2 armor, and I'm super excited to show this off to you guys. But before we take a look at the figure, let's take a look at the box. So the box is kind of interesting. We have a cool illustration of the V2 Gundam, as it were, but over here, instead of an illustration of the Core Gundam and the VT unit flyer, whatever they want to call it, it's photographs of, I'm assuming, a painted version, maybe a CGI render or something, but it's not the usual illustration, certainly not like what was on the Earth 3 Gundam. So this is kind of weird that they did it that way. I'm not entirely certain why, but... Oh, and I guess it should also be noticed it says Hiroto's support unit as opposed to... What does it say on Earth 3 Gundam? Looking at the box right now. Hiroto's mobile suit. So that's kind of an interesting detail there. So on this side, we got cool photograph of the V2 Gundam, the Core Gundam, and the flyer bit, with a little bit of write-ups about them. Then write-up about the planet system and how you can combine things together. On this side, we got the same photographs that we have on the front, as well as the same text and the BandaiHobby.net blue Bandai logo. This side, we got painted photograph of the V2 with a little write-up about the series. Oh, excuse me. And usual warning information and barcode with no yen price. Then on this side, instead of being the same as this side, this has the illustration of the V2 Gundam. That's kind of interesting because usually it is the same thing on either side. Then we got the Bluefin sticker, Gundam info, and yes, that is the box. But let's take a look at the actual figure now. And here he is. And I want to make something perfectly clear first. They call this G3 colors. This is not G3 colors. This over here, if I remember to edit it in, is G3 colors. Note the difference. The actual G3 Gundam, which is the RX-78-3, if I remember correctly, is actually is gray, blue with yellow accents. This is very much a sort of purplish gray with a couple of different shades of purple to go along with it, and then the white as well. So it's a good color scheme. I actually really dig it, but it kind of makes me scratch my head when I see them refer to it as G3 colors, because it's not. It's close if you look at it sideways and upside down, but it is not G3 colors. Since we went over articulation already with the original one, I think we can go ahead and skip that. I will go ahead and equip him with his weapons real quick though, and I'm going to do something that one of my viewers suggested. It was either one of the viewers or somebody on one of the Facebook groups I'm a part of. They said the shield looks pretty cool if you kind of put it underhand, like it's a tonfa almost. And I dig how that looks a lot better. So let's go ahead and compare him to the regular Core Gundam. So as you can see, even the white parts are a slightly different shade of white. Not much, but I think it's a little bit of a cooler color. Maybe I'm off base on this. you're replacing the sort of dark gray with this sort of light purplish gray. The red is now a light purple, and then the yellow is now a dark purple. So it's interesting to see these together and how different they are. Oh yeah, and these dark gray colors. Oh yeah, I've already said that. The dark gray colors are the light gray, light grayish purple, and that includes the gun and parts of the shield. Even show that. Another difference is the V2 Gundam has green beam saber bits, which I really dig these. I'm just probably not going to use them. But they have green beam sabers, while the Earth 3 Gundam uses the more traditional pink. But yeah, other than the change of color, everything else is 100% the same. There are no mold changes. I'm trying to see if I can get a little bit better light on this. There we go. So yeah, there are no mold changes. Nothing really major other than the colors. So yeah, let's take a quick look at the flyer next. So here is the V2 armor support unit. And again, there are not a whole lot of differences here. In fact, something I noticed putting this together is that the armor is about 90% the same, which is a little bit disappointing. I can understand why they did it, but I guess maybe thinking back to like how they did the armor system on the Liger Zero and Zoids and how radically different each of those armors were, it's a little disappointing that they didn't do the same thing here. And truth be told, I don't think this unit is as interesting looking in this form. It doesn't have wings. It doesn't have a weapon sticking out of it. And part of that is because you notice there are no big cannons on this like you see in the show. That's because those are sold separately. And that is the biggest disappointment about this kit. And I'll probably go over this when I have them all combined together. On its own, it doesn't do much. You really need to have those cannons to really make it feel like something special. And they don't include it with this. You have to buy it separately. Now, when I picked this up, I managed to find it for a really good deal. Like I got it for below $10 or something like that. Some crazy cheap price. I'm not entirely certain why. It was a bug in the system or something like that, but I was able to get it and a purchase went through and I got it in. So with that in mind, I don't feel too bad about it. But if I paid what was most likely the full price of this, like a similar price that I paid for the Earth 3 Gundam, I would probably be a little bit more disappointed. But as it is, it's not horrible. It's just maybe a little on the boring side. Let's jazz this up a little bit by getting this guy all combined together. Combination process is exactly the same, so I'm not even going to worry about showing that to you as well. And here he is all armored up. And I'm not going to lie, he does look pretty snazzy. It's just, like I said before, he doesn't have any additional accessories. In fact, the way this is rigged up, you're not even supposed to use his gun or his shield. So all he has is these little missile rocket launcher things on his wrists. And they look kind of cool, but there's just not a whole lot going on here. And when I found out that like the armor is 90% the same, it's a little bit on the disappointing side. Color scheme, not too bad. When you add the V2 armor, you add that sort of bluish green to it that looks pretty cool. Part of me kind of wishes it was more orange or something like that to make it a Sailor Moon reference, but I'm weird. He has a little feature where you can open up these things. I'm not sure if he ever did anything with those in the show. And articulation is exactly the same because, again, the armor is exactly the same. In fact, to show this off, I will go ahead and bring out the Earth 3 Gundam, all armored up and ready to go. So, basically, as you can see, anything that's blue on here is blue-green over here, with the exception of he does have a different crest piece. These white bits are different. And you do have these parts that go over the arms, and these black parts that go over the feet, and then you have these white parts that go over the legs. And if you look closely, the leg armor is exactly the same. In fact, this white part just goes over the existing armor. So if I were to take this apart, you would see this little pointed bit right here. So when looking at these two kind of back to back, that's something that I take away from it and I feel a little disappointed by. I really wish they would have done something a little bit more different with these. And I don't know if any of the armors necessarily do anything super different. I think Mars 4 is even more similar to the Earth 3. Merc 1 may have a little bit more going for it. And Jupa 5, however they call it, I think is going to have a more radically different system, but I haven't really taken a close look at it. I do think I'm going to go and get the rest of the Planet System Core Gundams, because I do like the setup. In fact, I did actually buy a couple of extra V2 Gundams because I could get them for really cheap, and I knew that at least the Merc 1 armor didn't come with a Core Gundam. So expect that sometime in the future. What I really need to do, though, is I need to get his weapon system. Like I said, it's sold separately, which is dumb. They should have included it with it. But I think that'll make all the difference when I get it all together, and that'll make it look more different and give it something to do, because as it is, he doesn't have much in the way of weapons, even though he's supposed to be like, the heavy artillery one. Guess I'll show the backs real quick. But yeah, so that's been a review. It's probably a little bit quicker than others because I don't have to worry about articulation and stuff like that too much. But thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. Check the description below for links to my storefront where you can get official Shelf Space t-shirts and more. And yeah, thank you again, and I'll see you the next time you invade my Shelf Space.